Okay, welcome everybody to today's event. I'm Jason Gumbert from msdynamicsworld.com, and I'm pleased to welcome everyone to a session all about partner success with Dynamics 365 Business Central. And with that, I think we are actually ready to begin. So I'm going to hand things off to Dave Wallen of Velocio to get us started.
Great, thanks, Jason. So yes, my name is Dave Wallen. I'm the Vice President of Product Marketing for Velocio. With me today is Scott May. He's our Director of Channel Programs for the Stratus Cloud Alliance and Velocio. Say hi to everyone, Scott.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
So to introduce the Stratus Cloud Alliance to you, Stratus Cloud Alliance is the partner's partner for success with Dynamics 365 and the Microsoft Cloud. The only North American partner authorized as both an indirect CSP distributor and Dynamics Master VAR. We provide partner programs for resellers and ISVs. We connect partners, publishers, technologies, and subject matter experts into a community that shares similar opportunities and challenges. What this means for you is a unique partner experience. Today, we're going to focus on how partners can position themselves to take advantage of the Dynamics 365 opportunity. We're going to overview Business Central, or BC as we call it, that opportunity, discuss why partners need to evolve to succeed in the cloud ERP space, outline a basic action plan for change, and introduce some resources and programs that Microsoft has invested in to help partners make that transition. And finally, demonstrate how the Stratus Cloud Alliance can help partners capitalize on the cloud opportunity. Now, I think today's theme is best summed up by Satya Nadella, who said, "Our industry does not respect tradition, it only respects innovation." And to that, I would add a corollary. Customers do not reward tradition, they only reward innovation, and only innovation that provides value to them. So let's get started. As Microsoft partners, we see a lot of statistics on the cloud opportunity, which are generally very broad and global. And I really like the slide that Microsoft's provided because it is specific to today's discussion, illustrating a $10.5 billion opportunity this year for dynamic solutions in the SMB market. As I said, most people are probably familiar with Dynamics 365 Business Central at this point. But for those of you who are new to Dynamics 365 BC, we're going to do a quick overview. Dynamics 365 Business Central is Microsoft's next generation of intelligent business applications in the cloud. Dynamics 365 harnesses the power of one Microsoft. So deep integration between Dynamics 365 and Office 365 brings together the two worlds of business process and personal productivity. Users leverage familiar tools like Excel and Word within the context of business processes, significantly increasing productivity and decreasing context switching. Power BI and Cortana Intelligence are natively embedded into Dynamics 365 for predictive insights, prescriptive advice, and actionable next steps. Businesses can also adapt and innovate in real time with the common data model and an extensible business application platform that includes Power Apps, Flow, and Power BI. And there's Microsoft AppSource, and that's where business users can easily find and evaluate line of business SaaS applications for Microsoft and partners across D365, Office 365, and Azure. And that platform story is the big differentiator for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central and the opportunity for partners. Now, selling BC out of the box with just configuration is not a viable business model unless you have enormous scale. Can Best Buy build a practice this way? Sure. But a typical partner would not be able to streamline commodity-level configuration services costs to compete with larger organizations on price. So what you need to do is start with BC and leverage all the elements of the Microsoft Intelligent Cloud, other D365 services, Office 365, Azure, ISV solutions on AppSource, and your own business and technical IP to create targeted, high-value solutions that drive recurring revenue at higher margins. And this all brings with it a drastic change in the profit model for Dynamics partners. If you look at the left side, customers were always used to large upfront investment associated with implementation services, plus hardware and software acquisition followed by lower annual maintenance costs. But the SaaS customer doesn't want an upfront capital investment. They instead prefer a consistent monthly operating expense. So, from the partner perspective, the traditional model generally had flat revenue. But with the SaaS model, you build a recurring business that grows as you add customers. Monthly billing means cash flow is more predictable, and the valuation of your business increases over time as your monthly recurring revenue grows. So to compete in the cloud world, seize this opportunity, you need to evolve as a partner because the marketplace and the channel are rapidly changing. Partners in the past focused on particular workloads, industries, or domains. They would identify themselves by their Microsoft competency. I'm an ERP partner or a CRM partner or a BI partner, or by their business model, right? I'm a learning partner, I'm an ISV, I'm a VAR, I'm an MSP. But over the past couple of years, Microsoft has broken down those walls, especially in the SMB space. First, through the introduction of the CSP program, enabling any partner to resell the most Dynamics 365 SKUs, and now through the continuing evolution of the One Commercial Partner program. I mean, just that name tells it all. The bottom line is that Microsoft is all in on driving cloud consumption, and to stay relevant as a partner, you need to orient yourself and your business this way. So it's a must to participate in the CSP program. We cover a lot of detail about CSP in our white paper, Demystifying the CSP program. And most content out there on the subject is really focused on those Azure or Office partners, but our paper was written with the Dynamics partner in mind. So if you haven't explored CSP yet, I highly recommend you download it from either the Stratus Cloud Alliance website or from the MS Dynamics World website. You can find it either place. And then there's Microsoft AppSource. So Microsoft AppSource provides a modern discovery and provisioning system for Dynamics 365 solutions. For customers, Microsoft AppSource is the destination to find and evaluate the apps from Microsoft and partners can drive their businesses. For ISVs, AppSource is your destination to market your line of business applications to business users. And resellers can also participate. They can package IP and service offerings into solution bundles, which we'll talk about a little more, as well as listing your service-only offerings. This next slide is what Microsoft calls the IP staircase, and this demonstrates the level of value that you can add by packaging or bundling those apps and services in their solution. And you kind of do it this way, right? You start, and at the bottom, there isn't much revenue in Office 365, but for most partners, it's the base of the pillar. It's where to start since it's so dominant, so pervasive in the market. The next up is the revenue from the Microsoft Business Application Services, the base business functionality customers get from one or more Dynamics 365 services, like Business Central as their ERP. Bundling the basics of one Microsoft begins the process of building a sustaining recurring revenue stream. You could build further on this by adding your ongoing support to that monthly cost of your package, enlarging the MRR. But to add significantly to that monthly recurring revenue and margin, you need to add additional business value functionality, whether through Microsoft AppSource ISVs or ideally leveraging your own IP, whether that IP is a technical bit or whether that's your own domain expertise. And Microsoft's identified kind of these 6 areas of focus of successful partners who've evolved and understand how to leverage the Microsoft platform and how to use modern ways to market and deliver solutions to customers. And the Move to Modern Action Plan, as well as the Ready Go workshops, were developed by Velocio and Microsoft to provide a prescriptive framework for Dynamics partners to develop in these areas and make a profitable transition to a cloud business model. Scott and his team are currently leveraging these tools with dozens of partners. So I'm going to pass things over to him to introduce the programs.
Great. Thanks, Dave. Lots of great information and a good way to really segue into what I'd like to cover now is really our move to modern, our 30, 60-day, 90-day action plan. So, the journey begins really with, the Cloud Solution Action Plan, which, outlines the primary activities that, you should be considering while planning and building, your scalable cloud practice. And we understand that each organization really starts its journey from a different kind of starting point. So, the Cloud Solution Action Plan is really designed to help reduce the common risks associated with building this repeatable cloud practice. So, developing a cloud solution practice certainly requires, as Dave's been talking about, new thinking, kind of new business skills, new resources, and certainly new ideas. So, for some partners, structuring the practice as a new business unit rather than just, a new product that they're getting into, will help result in, fewer mistakes and certainly an accelerated customer acquisition process. So let's take a closer look at the primary activities of the journey, at a high level, if you will. So as Dave mentioned, really, in order to make money in the cloud world, being just a horizontal ERP partner is really going to be difficult unless you can get to significant volume. So you need to begin your journey by identifying your market sweet spot or spots. These are areas which you might have deep vertical industry knowledge and expertise in with your existing client base, or niche markets that you have, as Dave mentioned, specific IP solutions around. It could also be an ISV solution that you work with, that serves an industry that you can add value, on top of, if you will. Then after identifying your sweet spot, you're really going to have to quantify your addressable market and the potential ROI before you go making significant investments into it. Is it large enough to serve and drive demand that you're going to need to be successful? Is there enough value in your solution that prospective clients are going to want to pay you for it? If your ROI works out, then you have to look at the competitive landscape and differentiators. Are they, a lot of already established competitors that's going to make it difficult to penetrate that market? And, what would your differentiators be that are going to set you apart from that competition, if there is any? So then you'll need to identify, the demand drivers in the market. Is it a growth market that is fueling people to go through and make changes? Are most of the prospects in that market on, let's say, older legacy systems, and, they're going to need to move off of them? Or is it an industry that's still predominantly, manual based, and there's plenty of opportunity for productivity improvements by moving them into cloud solutions? So you'll need to make sure there are forces that are going to be, driving this market to change and to move into the cloud. So then after that, you'll need to understand and define, what's your value proposition to the market and these clients. Why are they going to work with you versus the competition? What's your value add? Is it the IP solution that you bring to the table? Is it the level of industry understanding and experience? Is it your people and processes within the industry that are going to set you apart? So your value proposition has to be clear and concise to the market. It's why prospects are going to want to pay additional for your services and solutions, over anybody else. So, once you've completed, this step, you can move on to, building a product development plan. You got to ask questions like, is your IP, already productized? Is it available on AppSource yet? Is it available for Dynamics 365 Business Central? Or is it a solution that you're going to need to further develop, to get it to that point? Then you'll have to decide if, the development is something that you're going to do internally, or if you want to work with an external partner to really, help get you there. In addition to that, you're going to need to identify services that you can attach or be bundled with your market focus or solution. These can be pre-packaged implementation services or specific industry configuration processes, that set you apart from the competition for the market. And you have to figure out, how are you going to price it? Are you going to sell it as upfront services, or are you going to go through and make it part of the monthly ongoing subscription fee? And are you also going to include, support as part of that fee? After all of that, you're going to need to build your economic case for going after the market. How many clients you're going to need to close each month? What's the average number of seats that's going to need, and the average number of services to be consumed for it to be a profitable practice for you? Also, what are the add-on solutions that you're going to need to sell along with it, such as Progressus, for professional service automation, or Office 365, Power BI, or other workloads that you can, move into Azure along with it, and, as Dave was mentioning. So there's certainly a lot to think about, along this journey of moving into building a cloud practice. So we recommend breaking the activities into 5 key focus areas. So that first area is, business management. And this area is responsible for making and communicating, the organizational commitment to develop an industry, vertical, or workload-oriented cloud solution. Again, ideally it's one that includes a broad and differentiating Microsoft, solution set. The next area of focus is, the cloud solution development. And this person or persons, they must assemble a cross-functional team and define the market, cloud solution set. Again, it should include the minimum functionality required to address, one or more of your target customers' significant business challenges. It's going to drive prospect engagement, accelerate sales cycles, and help build a consistently high win rate for you. And again, cloud solutions that address business process challenges spanning multiple Microsoft cloud practice areas, drive differentiation by default and higher margins. So your cloud solution should include the whole Microsoft cloud stack that will benefit, the client's entire business ecosystem. Then you'll have to build, marketing focus. And cloud practices, of course, require, constant and predictable flow of inbound leads. So your marketing motion, if you have one, will likely require significant adjustments. As today's, inbound traffic effectively drives, a higher volume of lower value leads. Marketing will need to develop a content calendar, an asset inventory to continue to drive those leads. And also, nurturing early stage leads and tracking their responses is going to be critical to driving higher conversion rates. Selecting and implementing, what we refer to as a marketing automation system, to effectively manage those leads and the high volume of interactions is certainly highly recommended. So, just like marketing, you're going to need to really go through and modify, your sales motion. And it will require adjustments to become, a repeatable cloud sales cycle process, which is going to require dedicated sales professionals focused on, a higher volume of transactions. So you'll need to resist the temptation to assign a repeatable cloud, opportunities to what we refer to as, a solution sales professional who are also responsible for working, large, complex, project-based opportunities. Trying to go through and put somebody who works on both or a hybrid role, just simply doesn't work in this model. So you'll need to source repeatable cloud sales candidates from within your target industry or segment that have, domain knowledge. Or you can target, recent college, university graduates with, a couple of years of business experience and hopefully get them up to speed and trained quickly to be able to work on these opportunities. Then you'll have to focus on evolving your service delivery as well. As everything else, this brave cloud new world, the way you deliver services is going to have to change. Repeatable cloud solutions are pre-configured to really address very specific industry business challenges. Therefore, most of your deployment and your projects, should be very similar, which is really contrary to historical time and materials-based implementations. Most cloud solutions will be fixed-fee projects delivered within a defined number of hours or days. And as a result, deployment resources must, adopt a, prescriptive approach or mindset, if you will, to limit out-of-scope configuration changes and develop a, robust library of what we refer to as on-demand training materials to help limit, post-deployment support requirements. So, by now, you might be saying to yourself, wow, that's, a whole lot to go through and have to cover and focus on, where do I even go through and get started? So, what we would recommend would be to follow these 4 steps to really getting started. First, the business management is going to have to make those decisions as to what industry to go after, vertical or workload. They'll need to commit to creating, a goal, a timeline, and then start by sharing that vision, to the rest of the group. A champion's going to have to be identified that's going to take the lead on a project and be the business sponsor, and they're going to be responsible for, developing the business case and executing the project plan and, managing that organizational change that has to happen while, working closely with all of the other focus, leads, if you will. Then you need to, of course, identify, the focus area leads. And we understand that a lot of times in partners' businesses that, that one person may be covering multiple focus areas. And then, of course, the focus areas have to be, once they're identified, you need to get together and schedule a meeting with the key stakeholders to review, the goals and the timelines that have been developed and to make sure, you've got everyone's buy-in before moving forward. So now let's, kind of change directions and move into covering, the specific business management action plans, if you will. So as you can see, the business management action plans, they're broken down into our 30, 60-day time frame increments. And there's specific, objectives that need to go through and be completed, within each one of these. So within the first 30 days, you'll need to select that industry that we've been speaking about. You want to review your existing customer, concentrations in those specific industries or solutions that you've developed, to find that sweet spot and confirm, there's a sufficient market for you to go through and go after. You want to develop, that cloud practice economic model within the first 30 days. And, that's going to have to include things like a document with your assumptions, what capital investments will need to be made, resources that will be needed, revenue projections that you'll need to make it profitable, and, required to be, a successful business case. Within 60 days, you'll need to develop, a cloud practice business plan, which includes the solution development, the marketing infrastructure that you're going to need, the sales resource costs, your pricing strategy, and, what your projected client win rates are going to need to be, again, to make it a successful business case. Then you'll have to recruit a marketing leader. If required, hire a marketing professional if you don't have one, or work with a partner organization to help you drive that cloud solution demand. You also need to design a cloud sales compensation plan, because the way the revenue comes in is significantly different than the traditional ERP sales. So this is going to need to be based upon a balanced cloud consumption plan, which is going to be based upon revenue as well as, customer acquisition targets. And then within the first 90 days, you'll need to go through and define what we refer to as partner growth scale of opportunities, and discuss these with your partner about partnering on those opportunities, and also get those posted onto, AppSource and Azure or your own marketplace if you have one. So there's certainly a lot to do in the business management focus area within the first 90 days. However, this is really only one of 4 focus areas. So Dave's going to go through and cover, the cloud solution development and the marketing action plan areas. Dave?
Thanks, Scott. Yeah. So this is where you take the decisions you make in the business management area and implement them into a go-to-market. First 30 days, you define the service and the technical elements that go into the solution, review options, and develop initial budgets. What exists now, what can be sourced from potential partners, and what needs to be developed, and what investments need to be made to get there. With the 60-day point, you need to clearly define the scope, capabilities, benefits, and packaging of the solution, and you'll need to define your initial pricing strategy, so that by the end of that 90 days, you'll be in a position to review your staffing requirements. You may need to source talent based on the complexity of the solution and your customer acquisition goals. And you're going to need really strong alignment between your solution development and marketing action plans, since the findings from each will strongly impact the other. So in that first 30 days, you're going to research and document the market and the market opportunity for your solution. You're also going to document business drivers, KPIs, and the critical processes which your solution is designed to address. Within 60 days, you want to have your content strategy for attracting prospects, that top of the funnel, and compelling calls to action and proof activities to convert that interest into leads. The MTM framework introduces the idea of trials for this call to action, which is a best practice in the online world, but may or may not be the right one for you. An app source requires a trial for products, and we've seen mixed results in different markets and with different of the products that we've got listed there. Within the first 90 days, you'll want to have systems to support your marketing. You need a targeted landing page with content to drive traffic to. You'll need some kind of marketing automation tool to push content out and capture and nurture your conversions into leads. And then you're going to sell stuff, and that's where Scott's going to take over.
Yep. And, that's basically only two of the action plans. So there's two left to cover that you have to think about, which are sales optimization and, of course, evolving your services delivery action plan, if you will. So, first you're going to have to optimize, your cloud sales process down to, a 3, 4, or 5-step sales motion. It's got to go through and be, very concise and limited to go through and maintain your profitability. And remember, it can't be like the old ERP sales motion. It has to be, streamlined, efficient, and, developed with, what we refer to as the new buyer persona in mind. So you have to define your target prospect profile, your qualification criteria, on the market that you're going to go after. You'll have to have defined attributes and conditions for your cloud repeatable prospect profile to ensure, the leads are routed to the appropriate, sales resources, or that they go into a nurture pool. And it has to be a scalable process, that's going to allow you to go through and get to volume. So within the 60-day time period, you also need to identify or source and onboard a cloud sales professional. This could be an internal or external candidate. However, as we mentioned before, since the profile is radically different from the traditional ERP salesperson, it's typically a low probability that the position will be filled, from internal. Remember, it should be a person, either someone from within the industry or the vertical that knows it well, or just maybe a recent college grad that can be, spun up and trained quickly to manage the process. And then you also need to configure sales assets for your cloud offer. You'll need to modify the cloud SureStep sales process templates and assets that are available to you to reflect your industry focus, or you can work with a partner that can certainly assist you with that. And then within the 90-day time period, you're really going to need to design, what we call buy-in demonstration scenarios. You'll need 4 to 6 high-impact demonstration scenarios that will immediately and emotionally resonate, with your target prospect profile. And you'll be able to, deliver those, quickly and easily by a new salesperson, even potentially on the first call. So, then you'll need to develop what we refer to as a more comprehensive solution demonstration. Gone are the days that you're going to be able to develop a custom demo for necessarily each opportunity. So this is a prescriptive 60-minute demo focused specifically on your target prospect's primary industry and change pain drivers. These are not general show me the software demos anymore. You've got to be very industry focused and very specific to, what the industry issues are. So now that you've revised your sales process down, you'll have to figure out, additionally your service delivery plan. So, just like, how buyers are purchasing is changing, how buyers are looking for different ways to consume services are changing as well. They want predictable cost, lower risk, defined prepackaged service offerings, and some are going to want less, and some are going to want, more options. So in the first 30 days, you'll need to, identify new service offerings that support your cloud offer. You'll have to define the selection, project, managed, and optimization services that are going to drive, incremental business value consumption, beyond basically just, the traditional horizontal solution. You'll have to identify and source, yourself or through a partner, dedicated cloud, repeatable implementation resources. And since you're industry focused, these implementations should all be similar in nature, and the expensive, what we refer to as problem solver resources that aren't well suited for a repeatable, process probably shouldn't be used. Just as in the sales process, the junior resources with a lower cost base are much more effective and can actually help, control, scope containment, if you will, because they're really, following to, the prescriptive solution delivery. So within the first 60 days, you'll need to define a streamlined cloud solution implementation process, make sure it's repeatable, and try and find ways to automate it with tools if possible. I mean, a good example is, software isn't installed anymore. It's, provisioned by automated systems via, our marketplace in Microsoft. Then within 90 days, you want to have developed, on-demand training assets. You should really have a library of on-demand training assets that vary in type, such as video, webcast, tutorials, that can be used to reduce post-deployment support requirements and help accelerate, the client adoption of the solution. These could be bundled into the monthly cost, sold as part of what we refer to as like a customer support package, or sold individually, depending upon, what type of prepackaged implementation services, the client purchases up front. So, this is at a really high level, our move to modern 30, 60-day, 90 action plan that, partners need to be thinking about when they're building their, cloud practice. So now let's talk just a little bit about, some of the Microsoft self-serve resources that are available to you. And one of those, which hopefully most everybody is, aware of, is the Dynamics Learning Portal. So the Dynamics Learning Portal is free to all partners, but requires partner source access and, an MPN account. And certainly that's something that the Stratus Cloud Alliance can help and provide for you. It's continually being updated with more and more information and content on Dynamics 365 solutions such as Business Central, Finance and Operations, and all the CRM components. And it's easy to, navigate and build custom learning plans with. And of course, just as I mentioned before, it actually has videos, webcasts, tutorials, also exam prep capabilities to help you and your team develop its skills. So I'd highly recommend going out and looking at that and leveraging that to help get yourself and your team up to speed if you're not leveraging already. And so, Dave, I know there's a lot of learning now available for partners, from a consultant and pre-sales perspective, but I know that there's a lot of Microsoft marketing resources as well. Can you touch upon that?
Absolutely. Sorry, I was getting off mute. So there are some resources in DLP as well, targeted at marketing. But what I think is really exciting is the Microsoft Smart Partner Marketing Portal. So, because in the past, I've always been frustrated by Microsoft partner marketing resources, which were very scattered, disconnected, requiring visiting multiple sites. It was and made it very difficult to find relevant content and training. The Smart Partner Marketing website is an amazing new resource for Microsoft. Microsoft's divided the site into three sections: build a foundation, amplify your presence, and strengthen relationships. And it's designed with guided learning pathways and tools so that you can easily find resources relevant to your goals and your level of development. I highly recommend this resource, especially for partners without access to experienced marketing people.
And Dave, I know that we're also working with our partners on a tool that's now available called Partner On, which has different campaigns in a box, if you will, already available for things such as Office 365, Azure, and just recently released was a campaign for Dynamics 365, Business Central. So that's another resource. It's a marketing campaign engine that I mentioned before that's free to partners that we can help get them connected to and utilize. So certainly appreciate that information. and we try and help make sure we're connecting all our partners to all of those resources, that are available. So now I'd like to spend just a few minutes covering our Stratus Cloud Alliance, indirect CSP partner programs, and really how we can help you on your journey to building your cloud practice, if you will. So, the Stratus Cloud Alliance, indirect CSP partner program is really custom built, for partners. We're a unique Microsoft cloud distributor that specializes in, Dynamics 365. And we were chosen by Microsoft, because of, being a leader in its business solutions, for the past, 30 plus years. We helped pioneer the Microsoft Master VAR program, and have been working with partners, for the past, 7+ years. And so Microsoft knows that we know how to work with partners and help them, build their practices and accelerate the opportunities for them. So, why Stratus Cloud Alliance, if you will? As I mentioned, we're chosen by, Microsoft. We've been a Dynamics VAR. We really bring a unique understanding of dynamic solutions, your business model, the market for SaaS business applications. And, we really want to be your Dynamics 365 partner and a trusted advisor to help you capitalize on, what we've outlined as a growing market for Microsoft Cloud Business Solutions. So, we certainly go through and work with all of the dynamic solutions. As you can see here, is a distributor specializing in Dynamics 365. So Business Central, Finance and Operations, Power BI. We also go through and support partners with Azure and Office 365, as well as M365. So while we're focused on D365, we also work with partners on all of the Microsoft Cloud solutions that are available through the CSP program. Plus, we have private cloud hosting solutions available for our partners that have Dynamics clients that they want to just move into the cloud. We're easy to do business with. We're designed to basically make it easy for you to get started and work with us and work with Microsoft versus going to be a direct partner on your own. Being a direct partner on your own, there's a lot of requirements that you have to meet, investments that you have to make. With Stratus Cloud Alliance, you can sign up with us with no cost, low risk, low investment, and we're really there to help you along the way in building your cloud practice. We also provide, as part of that, what's called a best-in-class e-commerce platform, which includes your own marketplace, which is one of the requirements for being a direct partner. We provide that to our partners, and that takes care of all of the ordering, invoicing, billing. It's integrated to Microsoft's backend for automated provisioning. And for those partners who want to grow and move into that next level, we also provide what's called an e-commerce site, which can be a co-branded public-facing marketplace to drive existing clients and prospects to drive new opportunities with. And then additionally, we provide what we call our Stratus Success Knowledge Base, which is really a one-of-a-kind training portal that has the different unique attributes of video, webcasts, on-demand learning components, to help you guys maximize your investment. And then we're also going through and aggregating all of the Microsoft materials that are available to help you build your cloud practice and to do that much quicker. Next slide, Danielle. So, again, we're really providing a faster, easier way to you to get to capitalize on the cloud opportunities that are out there. It'll help you strengthen, those client relationships, make them more sticky by having the ability to offer them solutions that you may not have expertise in, but that we do, that you can leverage, increase your client retention rate, and certainly look for opportunities, which there's plenty that are out there, to open new revenue streams with, not only your existing client base, but with net new opportunities as well. Next slide. So, what's the value, for getting involved with us, to your clients? Well, you'll be able to immediately offer to them, the comprehensive Microsoft, suite of cloud solution offerings that I'd mentioned. Dynamics 365, Office, Power BI, Azure. We can go through and offer through you D365 implementation, training, and support services, for all Business Central and enterprise applications. And there's no other, indirect cloud solution provider, that's authorized to, work with the Dynamics 365 finance and operations solutions. We have Power BI implementation and training resources and support services, which Power BI and Power Apps continue to go through and grow rapidly and be integrated, into all the Dynamics 365 solutions. As I mentioned, we offer managed IT and infrastructure services and have, private cloud platforms that are based upon Azure that you can move your clients into. And certainly we provide a wide array of, ISV products and services, including Progressus for PSA, as well as a large selection of, Dynamics 365 solutions. And of course, they also, as a partner, can have access to the Stratus Success knowledge base as being part of the Stratus Cloud Alliance program with you as a partner. Next slide, Danielle. And for your business, we provide a streamlined Microsoft CSP onboarding process. We're working with you to help you through this 30, 60-day, 90-day process to develop your cloud practice. We provide a streamlined marketplace onboarding process for you so that you can get your marketplace and be able to transact quickly with us. We provide a dedicated account manager and onboarding team, as well as a marketplace team to help you out with the marketplace and becoming proficient with it. We help manage the Microsoft and provide the information on all the different discounting and incentive programs, on top of the margins that you get as the Stratus Cloud Alliance partner to help you navigate those. And as I mentioned before, we certainly provide marketplace and e-commerce capabilities, including co-branded marketplace options. The training to the Stratus Success is certainly a key part of that, as well as we have a portal that we provide complete visibility in all your transactions. Plus, we provide training, marketing collateral, and much, much more to help enable your organization to build that cloud practice faster. In addition, we provide sales and marketing enablement, including opportunity and deal support. So we have multiple program levels, depending upon where you're coming in and what type of partner you want to be with us. We've got a referral program that's really traditionally for somebody who's not wanting to build a practice, but is getting opportunities in the D365 space and would like to work with us as a referral partner. And that's really where we're taking ownership and working with that client, and the partner is just getting an ongoing continual margin on the licenses that they're selling, as well as they get a margin on the implementation services that are done through that. If you're looking to build a practice around D365, that's really where you start, at the emerging partner level. And, we provide basically the partner portal. You really own the customer and the ownership. So you're doing the billing and basically providing the support. We're providing the portal to be able to do that for you through the e-commerce site. You're the digital partner of record. We're working with you to help engage you and get you up to speed on the solutions. But you're really the one that's, the client ownership and the face of the client. So, if you're interested, we can certainly discuss, these programs and how we work with partners, further. I just wanted to give you've got the opportunity to start, at the 15% margin, and certainly with growth, grow that to the growth partner level and even the volume partner level. So you've got an opportunity to significantly increase your margin as you build your practice. Next slide, Danielle. So at this point, I'll turn it back over to Jason for our Q&A session at this point.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Dave and Danielle. So yeah, we would like to take your questions. One that came in a couple times already was just asking for access to the slides following the session today.
Yeah, we will certainly go through and make those available and send those out to everybody.
Great. And let's see what else here. So yeah, before you use the Q&A block to send in those questions, one that came in as well was asking, is it difficult to move from direct to indirect partner model?
No, it's not difficult to move from direct to indirect. We can certainly go through and help you get set up as an indirect partner and then get you set up in our indirect partner program. And then, moving clients basically from being, under the direct to under, the indirect program, we can certainly go through and help with, as well. So there's a process for doing that, and we work with our partners to make sure that that's easily done, and they can move all of their existing, CSP clients, underneath the indirect program if they do have them.
And someone would like to know about options outside the United States.
Currently, as Stratus Cloud Alliance, we are authorized as a partner for North America.
All right.
There are other indirect CSP partners that we partner with that if you have opportunities, and we've had this happen with our partners, we are able to go through and get them connected with other ICSPs in Europe or other places that we work with very well.
And another question that came in, I'm a consulting partner for GP for many years. My expertise is in financial application and various areas of that. Where would I fit into this program?
Well, if you're looking at getting into, really being able to resell and build your own practice, we can go through and get you started at the emerging partner level. And you may not have all of the resources to be able to support, all of the solutions. And that's really where, we as Stratus Cloud Alliance can help support you in areas that you don't have that expertise in, and leverage the resources and expertise that we have. So if you're looking at getting into being able to go through and resell licenses, on your own and directly, we can work with you in that regard. If you're just looking to get opportunities that you run across and you want to go through and not get involved with the reselling aspect of it, we can set you up as a referral partner as well, and work with you in that regard. So there's different ways to work with partners depending upon kind of what level of involvement that they want.
All right, great question, and certainly not the only person I think wondering about that one. Well, maybe as a follow up here, if someone's only interested in consulting, not in the reselling, do you agree that the referral partner would seem to be a good fit?
Yeah, I would agree that at that point the referral program would be the right program to get involved with us on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Then at that point they can certainly still take advantage of getting some margin on the licenses that they're able to go through and bring to us, but not have to go through and take on that whole aspect of the reselling portion.
And how does one sign up for the referral program?
Our application process is really straightforward. It's on our website, and there's just an online application that takes about 5 minutes to go through and get completed, and that can be done at Dynamics365partner.com, and there's a Join Now button. Takes you directly to the application. Complete that. We get notified once the application's completed, and we would reach out to that partner to go through and kick off our onboarding process.
All right, great. Looks like we're getting near the end of the question queue here, so let me make a final call for questions. One other one that we do have is asking how quickly can someone go to market with Business Central with the indirect partner model?
I mean, if you have opportunities, again, I'll answer the question. If you have current opportunities that you need to be able to transact, we can certainly go through and get you set up and going typically within days to be able to go through and do that. If you're not there yet, but basically are looking to go through and, kind of get your practice set up, that's really what the 30, 60-day, 90-day, program is for, that we can work with you on. And we can get you involved in the partner on marketing activities right away to start, driving hopefully net new business opportunities. If you have opportunities and you're not ready to go through and be able to, deliver on the services, if you will, yet, again, you can tap into the services and expertise that we have to offer. So, it can be anywhere from immediately to, 30 days, just depending upon, where you're at in the process at this point.
Hey, Jason.
Hey.
I think that there might be a question up there that got stuck on the Canadian cloud. Are our Canadian clients hosting on a Canadian cloud?
Well, yeah, I mean, basically anybody who purchases Business Central, it's hosted in a data center that's in a Canadian environment. We also do private cloud solution offerings where if you've got an existing Dynamics GP SL nav client that just wants to be, put into the cloud, there are options that we can work with partners on to put that solution, in a Canadian data center on Azure.
All right. Someone was mentioning an issue on setting the provinces in the sign-up form. Obviously, we'll follow up offline on that. And Danielle, you posted, just if anyone's looking for it, the contact information either by email or the website is in the Q&A now. So those are some follow-up points for you. One other question that came in is asking, is there any Business Central training available?
There is Business Central training available. One, through Dynamics Learning Portal, there's quite a bit. Two, we've been doing as Stratus Cloud Alliance on a monthly basis, live remote training for Business Central. We've done courses on finance, trade and logistics, advanced implementation, and we'll be, continuing to do that going into next year. There's none scheduled at this point for December because of the holidays and everything else that goes on.
All right, I'm looking through the list of questions here. I think we've touched on all of them now. Danielle, unless you're seeing anything else that was missed, because I did miss that one.
I don't think so.
All right.
Feel free, as my information is up on the screen, to reach out to me. Be happy to go through and answer any questions that anybody has, set up a meeting to go through the programs in more detail, give you a demo of the marketplace and e-commerce capabilities that we provide as part of the program. So certainly would look forward to any questions that anybody has that we didn't get answered, and want to thank everybody for their time in attending the session today.
Very good. Well, I would second that thank you to everyone, and also to you, our presenters, Dave, Scott, and Danielle. Thank you all so much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you, Jason.
All right. With that, we are going to conclude today's event. Have a nice day, everybody.